just rushed out of the house because I just got this text message. All right, so we're back at the house. The new bike is literally sitting right there. And before I jump into showing you the new bike, I just want to remind you about the old bike. So this is the bike I've been using up until this point. I picked it up off of Craigslist about 2 years ago when I first started getting into cycling, triathlon, just fitness in general. It was about $800, I think. It's okay, like it's a really good starter bike, but it's actually a little bit too big for me. I've never actually even heard of this brand, Matrix. I had to look it up. It kind of looked legit from what I saw online, and I just needed a quick bike, so I went ahead and bought it. I do believe that you get what you pay for in a sense, and if you don't enjoy it, you're not gonna wanna do it long term. So at that point, it really made sense for me, and I've wanted this for a really long time, so I've been patient with it, but it just kind of got to the point where it made the most sense. And as I prepare for this race in July and future goals that I have, I needed the upgrade. So without further ado, this is the Fezzari Empire SL Pro, size medium, so actually my size this time. This is the lava rock red color. It's super, super cool. I'll show you closer. It changes. So starting out here, we've got DT Swiss wheels, disc brake, as you can see back here. So it's gonna be my first time with disc brakes. We're running a SRAM component, the SRAM Force Axis. So it's E-tap, all digital, no wires or anything like that. So it's got these battery packs on here for the derailleurs. Those are rechargeable, and then all the shifting right here, which is super responsive, but it just clicks. It's not like the mechanical one that I used to have. So I got the app and paired up my components, chose a couple preferences there on shifting and all that stuff. Empire runs what they call a monoform carbon frame, and basically what it is there's no break in the frame. All of this is one piece, and it allows them to run longer strands of carbon fiber throughout the frame. Just gives some more responsiveness, stiffer frame, and hopefully better power delivery. So because of the kind of Bluetooth connection that the components have, the only two wires there are just for the brakes, but they just hide all throughout the frame, makes it look super clean. Now, to be honest, I really don't know too much about bikes. I keep up enough to know the difference between SRAM and Shimano, disc brakes, rim brakes, carbon material, aluminum, all that stuff. But as far as maintenance and the use of the components, the capabilities of E-tap and all the different shifting options, this is a whole new world for me, mostly because on my old bike, I didn't really have to worry about it. But I couldn't be more stoked that it's finally here. Obviously, this is gonna put a pretty big jump in my training motivation. Now, Fezzari may not be a brand that a lot of you are familiar with, but there's really three main reasons that I decided to go with Fezzari. Number one, they're a local company. Like I said, I was able to pick it up here locally. It was actually 8 minutes away. So I just love that we have such a quality bike manufacturer and somebody with such a positive mission right here in our backyard in Utah. The second reason that I chose Fezzari is because of the recommendations that I've received. A good friend of mine is James Lawrence, the Iron Cowboy. He's done pretty much all of his endurance feats on a Fezzari bike, whether it's mountain biking up Mount Kilimanjaro or most recently 101 full distance triathlons in 101 days. So the evidence is there to prove that Fezzari is a good bike, especially if an athlete like James trusts it so much and so many people locally here support them. They are primarily very heavy on mountain bikes and mountain bike production. So if you're part of the mountain bike world, you may be more familiar with them. but they're starting to make some really big leaps in road biking, gravel biking that they just recently released, and then hopefully in the future, time trial triathlon bike. And then the third reason that I chose Fezzari is because of the price. They have a really unique business model, which is direct to consumer. They manufacture the bikes and sell them directly from their website or their warehouse to the consumer. So it completely cuts out a middleman, and they're able to still use components like DT Swiss wheels or a SRAM group set, a completely carbon frame, all of the stuff that these bigger brands like Specialized, Trek, they are able to use, but they sell it for almost double the price, if not more than that. So because of that, it was a no-brainer for me to make a move on a Fezzari. Even though I'm getting more and more into cycling, that doesn't automatically mean that I've just got money burning holes in my pocket. I just wanted to make sure that I made the smartest investment. So the best quality components that I could use at the best price, and fortunately from a company that's right here in my backyard. No, that was not all the footage I got. That ride lasted, well, 0.4 miles. Basically, I probably should have sat on the bike, not hyped it up so much. I gave them my measurements. I figured it wouldn't be perfect, but it feels like I'm riding a BMX bike. My knees feel super high. They're not extending out at all. So I'm gonna grab an Allen key real quick, going to fix the seat post height, and then take it for another spin. All right, well, we're in American Fork Canyon right now. I meant to do an easy ride, but where I originally thought to take some pictures of the bike, just didn't look as good as I thought it would. So I came up the canyon a bit, forgot how far this place was from the mouth of the canyon. So I ended up doing about 1,000 feet of climbing. I'm at about 15 miles right now. First impressions of the bike, amazing shifting. I'm used to like a big mechanical crank to shift the gear, and this is literally just push of a button, right to downshift, left to upshift, or maybe that's opposite, I don't know. Left is easier, right is harder. And then you tap both to move the front derailleur. So super easy. My favorite thing about it is when you go to move the front derailleur, the back cassette, the back derailleur actually compensates so that it's not so much of a jump. And before with my other bike, it was always kind of a shock when I would move the front derailleur to the easier gear. It would do this crazy jump where all of a sudden my legs would be spinning super fast. So it's nice to have that compensation. Obviously just makes for a smoother ride. It's not a necessity, but it's super nice to have. So there's definitely still a couple adjustments to make as far as the fit goes still. But as an overall bike, couldn't be more stoked. So just gonna take a ride home. Luckily the way back is pretty much all downhill. Well, I couldn't be more stoked. This is all new to me. I don't know, I feel like it's a complete, I'm like learning how to ride a bike all over again. Couldn't have come at a better time. Weather's warming up, training is dialing up, and eventually I'll throw some aero bars on it and it'll be my bike for the Starvation Xtreme Triathlon race. If that's something that interests you, if you like bikes, if you're a beginner, if you're wanting to see how I progress on the bike and everything leading up to my race in July, stick along, keep on putting out videos, and I'm sure you'll see a lot more bike content. But anyways, until next time, thanks for watching.